Welcome to Learn Commerce PU online classes. Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.
Hello students, welcome to First PUC Business Studies online classes. Students, in the previous class we have studied about the public sector enterprises, the meaning, then we have come across departmental undertakings, isn't it? And we have cleared the meaning of that is public corporation also. I already told you three types of public sector enterprises, isn't it? That is departmental undertakings, public corporations and government companies. Departmental undertakings totally attached to a government department or which is headed by a minister, isn't it? Minister. So it is attached to a ministry, maybe railway department, isn't it? Or postal department. These are the examples for departmental undertakings where there is no flexibility, no autonomy, financial independence is not there. Again, decision making powers are not there with the authorities. Only the minister can make the rules and he is the only decision making authority in case of departmental undertakings. And the employees are civil servants in the sense they are government employees, and the civil service rules are applicable to those employees who work in the departmental undertakings. Then I took up the meaning of statutory corporations or public corporations which are autonomous, which are enjoying some sort of administrative, that is flexibility. They can do their own, that is rules and regulations, because it is already defined in the act, special act. They are not governed by the government rules and regulations. They are governed by the provisions of special act that is passed in the parliament or state legislature. Like I told you, state finance corporations, isn't it? Or Life Insurance Corporation of India, Karnataka State Road Transport Corporation, isn't it? Industrial Development Corporation. So all these are Industrial Finance Corporation of India. These are all that is coming under this public corporation where there is some sort of, that is a financial independence, and also the decision making powers are there with the authorities who are appointed. Mostly it is headed by, that is the top level officials, that is IAS officers. They look after these corporations, especially you may be knowing that is Karnataka State Road Transport Corporation, KSRTC, is headed by the IAS officer, like that. So this is about the very meaning, and we have come across the special features. Accounting and audit practices applicable to other, that is departmental undertakings, are not applicable here. They enjoy financial independence in the sense the revenue need not be deposited into government treasury. That can be used for the expenses of, that is corporations, isn't it? Now let us move on to, and it is a body corporate and it has its own identity. It can sue and be sued, isn't it? They can file a suit against the third parties, or the third party can file suit against the corporations. So that is the special, that is a feature of public corporation or statutory corporation. Let me move on to the merits of that is public corporations. First one is operational flexibility. First one, operational flexibility. What do you mean by operational flexibility? There is other word for this, that is autonomy, isn't it? Autonomy means flexibility. here they enjoy some sort of operational flexibility in the sense they need not wait for the decisions that are to be given by the government or the minister. They need not have to wait for any decisions like that, because there will be delay. If the minister is supposed to take the decisions, then there will be always delay, and there may be corruption and all these things, and political interference will be there. But here you need not have to get the approval of the minister or need not wait for the decisions of the ministers. Here the authorities who are appointed, they themselves can take the decisions, isn't it? That is the first, that is autonomy or flexibility that is enjoyed by the officials of public corporations. Because here even they can take the decision regarding finance, they can, that is divert the revenue that is received for the, that is expenses of the corporation. So that is called operational flexibility. There is no much delay in taking decisions because they need not have to wait for sanction from the minister. Here the people who are appointed, and they need to govern only by the rules and regulations that are there in the statute or the special act that is passed in the parliament or state legislature, isn't it? So ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ನಿಧಾನಗತಿ ಮಂದಗತಿ ಅನ್ನುವಂಥದ್ದು ಇರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನೇರವಾಗಿ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳು ಯಾರಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರೇ ನಿರ್ಧಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಕೈಗೊಳ್ಳುತ್ತಾರೆ. ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ನಾವು ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಆ ನಿರ್ಧಾರಗಳನ್ನು ಅಪೇಕ್ಷಿಸುವುದಾದರೆ ಆಗ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಬ ವಿಳಂಬ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಆ ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಗ ಸಿಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಆಫೀಸ್ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ ಏನಾದರೂ ಡಿಸಿಷನ್ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 1,000 ಇದಿರ್ತದೆ, ಯಾವುದು ಅಪೋಸಿಷನ್ ವಿರೋಧ ಇರ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ. ಶಾಲೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಕೋವಿಡ್, ಯು ಮೈಟ್ ಬಿ ಸೀಯಿಂಗ್, isn't it? Some the education ministry, if he takes decision to start the schools and colleges, then there will be opposition from the media and the publics or the parents, isn't it? You are seeing every time there will be fight, like hot discussions, isn't it? All this will happen. Everyone starts to blame others, isn't it? No one is taking decision, no one can take decision. So this will happen. If officials are there who are supposed to take decisions and they are governed by a special statute, they need not have to wait for the sanction from the government. So this is the first, that is merit of public corporation. Second one is financial independence. Financial independence, as I already told you friends, that is the expenses of the, that is corporations can be managed by using the funds received in the form of income. They need not have to wait for the sanction in the budget. If the amount that is allocated in the budget for the expenses of that is corporations, if it is not sufficient, then you have to wait till next budget. ಈ ವರ್ಷದ ಬಜೆಟಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಹಣ ಅಲೋಕೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಹಣವನ್ನು ನೀವು ವಿನಿಯೋಗಿಸಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಖರ್ಚು ಮಾಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅಷ್ಟನ್ನು ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಬಜೆಟ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ. ಅದರ ನಂತರ ಒಂದು ವೇಳೆ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆದರೆ ನೀವು ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಬಜೆಟ್ ಬರುವ ತನಕ ಕಾಯಬೇಕು, ಅಥವಾ ನೀವು ಮಿನಿಸ್ಟರಿಂದ ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ರೆಕಮೆಂಡೇಶನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸ್ಯಾಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಬೇಕು ಸರ್ಕಾರದಿಂದ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಲೇ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ತುಂಬ ಡಿಲೇ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ದ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ ದೇ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ ಎ ಪೊಸಿಷನ್ ಟು ಡೂ ದ ವರ್ಕ್ ಆಸ್ ದೇ ಲೈಕ್, ಆರ್ ದೇ ಕೆನಾಟ್ ಯೂಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಬಿಸ್ನೆಸ್, isn't it? So this makes a delay in taking decisions, and work will be delayed, isn't it? So that is the weakness of department undertaking, which is not here. Here the officials, they themselves can divert the funds that is received in the form of income for the expenses of the corporations. There will be some sort of meeting and all those things will be there. Approval is required from the top official, but still there will be less delay compared to departmental undertaking. Then third one is they frame their own policies and procedures. Own policies and procedures. By following the provisions of special act passed in the parliament or state legislature, the officials of corporations, they themselves can make the policies that is required for their administration. ನಿಗಮವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯ ಕಾನೂನು ಕಟ್ಟಳೆಗಳು ಅಥವಾ ಯಾವುದೇ ನಿಯಮಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾ ಅದನ್ನು ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳೇ ಮಾಡುವಂತ ಹಕ್ಕನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಯಾಕಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ವಿಶೇಷ ಏನು ಕಾಯ್ದೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪನೆ ಮಾಡೋದಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ನಿಗಮವನ್ನು ಅದನ್ನು ಇವರೇ ನಿಭಾಯಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಅವರು ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಯಾವುದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಆದೇಶವನ್ನು ಕಾಯಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಆದೇಶಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ಕಾಯಬೇಕಾಗಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ another that is advantage, that is they can do their own policies and procedures as per their requirement by following the special provisions of the special act. So they can do the work without any delay. There will not be any procedural formalities, lengthy procedure is not there. They can make their own policies and run the business. Then last one is initiative of private enterprises. This can be taken as the instrument for economic development. Instrument for economic development. Of course, here what happens is that these corporations can be used as the instruments for economic development, economic growth. Like Life Insurance Corporation of India, isn't it? That is there is a life insurance business. They are that is a most important one. Other that is insurance companies, they follow the Life Insurance Corporation for all the practices, isn't it? Though there is a IRDA, Insurance Regulatory Development Authority, it is there, but still LIC is the largest that is insurance company, isn't it? Which is formed as a public corporation. So the amount that is collected, the revenue collected by these corporations can be diverted for investment in different sectors. That is a profit making, that is ventures, or the companies which are required for economic development of the country, isn't it? The products, we can select the sectors, different sectors which are required for economic development of the country. Those can be developed by diverting the funds of the corporations to such that is enterprises in the form of loan, because LIC provides a lot of loans to the different sectors for economic development of the country. So here the initiative of private enterprises is there just because the employees are governed by special act of that is passed in the parliament, and the provisions of that special act is only applicable to these employees, and even the officials, they can make their own policies for their convenience, for the convenience of the that is a corporation. ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾದ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋದಾಗ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಟ್ಯಾಲೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಉಪಯೋಗ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ. ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರು ನಮಗೆ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಹೇಳಿದ ಹಾಗೆ ನಾವು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ನಮ್ಮ ಬುದ್ಧಿಯನ್ನು ನಾವು ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ನಮ್ಮ ಬುದ್ಧಿವಂತಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ತೋರಿಸಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಆಗ್ತದಾ? ಆಗುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ, ಇಷ್ಟು ಮಾತ್ರ ನೋಟ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಓದಬೇಕು, ಬೇರೆ ಅಂತದ್ದು ಓದಬಾರ್ದು. ಲೈಕ್ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ನೌ, isn't it? That is NCERT syllabus. You have to read only NCERT reader. You are not supposed to refer any other materials. Then the knowledge of the students gets condensed. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜ್ಞಾನ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗುವುದನ್ನು ಕುಂಠಿತ ಆಗ್ತದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ವಾ? When we were students, we used to refer a number of books. There was business studies, it was name was commerce, but we were supposed to refer 4 to 5 textbooks, standard textbooks, and we used to prepare our own notes. But nowadays it is not like that. Students don't refer anything else, only NCERT. It is your, that is a sacred book, isn't it? You just refer that much only, don't improve your knowledge. It's not stated like this, but still there is implied is that only. So here my point here is that we can use these corporations for economic development of the country. Moving on to the next part, that is demerits. Demerits are disadvantages or cons or minus points, isn't it? So demerits. First one, many rules and regulations, no flexibility. Many rules and regulations, so no flexibility. You may ask me now, sir, you just told while explaining its merits, there is flexibility, autonomy. Now you are saying there is no flexibility. See friends, that this is the problem in business studies. While explaining, you should make sure that you will reach the correct point. You can write in your own sentences, don't by heart. If you by heart, then definitely it is not possible for you to by heart everything. So what you have to do is you have to read, and you should remember the side points, and you should know what explanation that is required for that point, isn't it? That is very important in business studies. Many rules and regulations here, because these officials, isn't it, they make policies and rules and regulations. So there will be a number of rules and regulations in the corporation. You cannot bypass the very provisions of the special act. What is mentioned in the special act through which the corporation is established, you cannot bypass the rules and regulations of that is a very statute or the special act. ಸ್ಪೆಷಲ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ ಏನಿದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿದ್ದ ಅಡಕವಾಗಿರುವಂತಹ ಅಂಶಗಳನ್ನು ನೀವು ಯಾವತ್ತೂ ಅದರಿಂದ ಹೊರಗೆ ಹೋಗುವಾಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಅದನ್ನು ನೀವು ಪಾಲಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂರಕವಾದ ಕೆಲವು ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಆಗುವಂತಹ ಏನಾದರೂ ನೀತಿ ನಿಯಮಗಳಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ಆ ಅಫಿಷಿಯಲ್ಸ್ಗಳು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲದ್ರೆ ನೀವು ಅದನ್ನು ಪಾಲಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ದರ್ ಆರ್ ಮೆನಿ ರೂಲ್ಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ರೆಗ್ಯುಲೇಷನ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಡಿಫಿಕಲ್ಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಆಪರೇಷನಲ್ efficiency of the organization. Then second one is government and political interference in major decisions. Political interference, of course, mostly political interference will be there. Interference will be there where there is more money, isn't it? Yes. Where there is no money or where there is problem, political interference will be less, because if they interfere, they have to pay. They have to arrange for the funds, though no one will come and ask why it is. Now, you might have seen in news yesterday, isn't it? That is a flood affected area. No one is visiting. All these things were there in the channel, wasn't it? Because nothing is there to give. If there is nothing to give, then how to go there? People will demand, they are in trouble, isn't it? So that natural it is. So yeah, political interference will be more because the corporations, they are though established through a special act of parliament, but still the major decisions are taken by taking into confidence of the government also. The concerned minister or MLA of that particular area, they will interfere in the affairs of that is corporation. So this is another weakness of public corporations. Third one is corruption exists. Corruption, that is misappropriation of funds and all these things, that is common, isn't it? Because huge money the corporation collects, and for developmental purposes they have to do some that is a work like constructing building and all these things. There corruption always will take place, because some of them, that is top officials, will be appointed by the government, isn't it? Though they are free to make their own policies following the provisions of that is rules and regulations that is given in the special act, but still there will be some sort of corruption. You might be seeing people are frequently shifted from one department to another department, one corporation to another department of the government, like that, isn't it? Someone who is working in education department, they will be shifted to transportation department. So that naturally that is curtails the efficiency of the corporation. Frequent changes in the top officials, isn't it? Frequent changes of top officials of the corporation will curtail that is efficiency of the corporation. Suppose take the case of students. ತಿಂಗಳಿಗೆ ಒಬ್ಬ ಲೆಕ್ಚರರ್ ಬಂದು ನಿಮಗೆ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡಿ ಶುರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಕನ್ಫ್ಯೂಸಸ್, isn't it? When you get adjusted with one lecturer, that person will go and the other one will come. And when you see there is a difference between the earlier one and present one, isn't it? Again, when you get adjusted with that person, third person will come. So this will interfere in the efficiency of the employees. Last one is corporation board advisors are appointed by government. Board advisors are appointed by the government. So what happens when board advisors are appointed by the government? Then there will be drag by different parties, political parties who are strong or influential will come on the board, and if they are efficient, then they will make good policies and decisions. They will give good decisions. If they are not experienced or they are not having good background, isn't it? Then what happens? They will do their policies, but it may not increase the efficiency of the corporation. ಒಬ್ಬ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಇದ್ದವ ಬಂದು ಟಾಪ್ ಹೆಡ್ ಆಗಿ ಕುತ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರೆ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪ್ನಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಲೈಕ್ ನಾರಾಯಣ್ ಮೂರ್ತಿ, ಇನ್ಫೋಸಿಸ್, isn't it? There was a good name and fame. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಅಷ್ಟೊಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಹೆಸರಿತ್ತು, ಅವರು ಆ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯನ್ನು ಅಷ್ಟು ಮುಂದೆ ನಡೆಸ್ಕೊಂಡು ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಹಾಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹಾಕಿದರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್ದು, ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ ಎಫಿಷಿಯನ್ಸಿ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ಪಬ್ಲಿಕ್ ಕಾರ್ಪೊರೇಷನ್. ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ಫ್ರೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಯು the merits, then if you write operational flexibility, that's all, then you will not score any marks. Remember, even in case of sole trading concern, partnership firm, sometimes you write that is more costly. More costly means compared to what? How to compare, isn't it? You have to give comparison. In case of partnership firm, if you write more capital, then you have to say, compared to sole trading, the capital that is required for partnership firm, or that is capital that is contributed by the partners, will be more than the contribution by the sole trader, because he is alone. And like that, you have to give comparison whenever you give a point, or you have to give meaning of that point. Otherwise, your point, this side point, if you give, that is meaningless without explanation. Remember this. You may not score even 1 mark for 4 points. Yeah? Then conclusion is, compared to departmental undertaking, public corporations are the best form of public enterprises. Even compared to the government companies, public corporation is the best suited public sector enterprise, because there is some sort of financial independence. The officials can use the revenue that is collected by the corporation for the expenses, and in case of department undertaking, there is no permission. They have to get sanction from the minister, isn't it? The headed by, that's the departmental head, isn't it? Mostly minister will be there, so you have to get the sanction from the minister. Without that, you are not allowed to touch the revenue that is received by the department, and it should be deposited into the government treasury, and money will come from the budget allocation, annual budget allocation done in the union budget or state budget, isn't it? So that is the main weakness of departmental undertaking compared to public corporation. Here you will enjoy even that is administrative flexibility, autonomy, what we call autonomy. That is officials can make their own policies, rules and regulations, and they can run the organization in an efficient way. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಅಧಿಕಾರಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಸುಲಭವಾಗಿ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ, ಯಾವುದೇ ಅಡಚಣೆ ಇಲ್ಲದೆ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯತೆ ಉಂಟು ಅನ್ನುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಪಾಯಿಂಟನ್ನು ನೀವು ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸಮರ್ಥಿಸಬೇಕು. ಸೊ ಹಿಯರ್ we can say that public corporations are better than the departmental undertaking and the government companies. So you have to give one sentence, it's a 2 or 3 sentence explanation, while a comparison is given between the department undertaking and public corporation in the examination. Simply you have to write what are the differences between the department undertaking and public corporation in terms of meaning, in terms of that is flexibility, in terms of that is its formation, isn't it? This gets started what? Public corporation with a special act, isn't it? This is attached to a ministry itself, isn't it? So such differences you should write, then you have to conclude public corporations are better because there is financial and administrative operational flexibility in case of public corporation. So, and it can be used as an instrument of economic development of the country. It can be used as an instrument of economic development of the country. Clear? Yes. Now, let us move on to the third public sector enterprise, that is government company, isn't it? Government company. What is a government company? See, you are seeing that is in case of department undertaking purely under the government, a minister is headed by that department, isn't it? And he is the sole decision making authority, and he has to sanction for everything, and he has to approve everything, and he has to give decisions for everything. So totally under the government control. But in case of public corporation, I told you that is mid of the path, like half independence, half government, isn't it? Because board members are appointed by the government, so there will be some sort of government interference, political interference will be there, but still there is a financial and operational independence for the officials in case of public corporation. But in case of government company, it is not like that. It is totally enterprises which are running on commercial lines. Commercial lines means they use all the business tactics. They used to earn the profits. They try to earn the profits. Those are called government companies. So let us know what are government companies. Government companies are those companies in which not less than, remember this, not less than 51% of the share capital, not less than 51% of the share capital is contributed either by the central government, or by the state government, or partly by central government and state government, or one or more state governments. So the meaning is very clear here. Now let me analyze. See, the government will contribute to the share capital of the company, and these companies, government companies, they come into existence under the act of, that is a Companies Act. There is an act called Companies Act, Joint Stock Companies Act, right? Companies Act 2013 now. Earlier it was 1956. Now it is Companies Act 2013, right? So here not less than 51% of the share capital is contributed by the central government alone, or by a state government alone, or partly by central government and state government, one or more state governments, or one or more state governments, they themselves form a government company. What does that mean? So 49% share capital may be subscribed or contributed by the public, general public. So it is like a mixed ownership, government and the public, that's private people, isn't it? Anyone can contribute for this, 49%. But majority holdings, 51% means majority, isn't it? So majority holdings will be with the government. It may be with the central government or with the state government, or one or more state governments, or central and state combined together, isn't it? So that is called government company. So when a company is established by participation with the general public, where majority holdings is of the government, then it is called a government company. Illi 51% ಅಧಿಕ ಬಂಡವಾಳವನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಹಾಕ್ತದೆ, ಸರ್ಕಾರ ವಿನಿಯೋಗಿಸ್ತದೆ. ಉಳಿದ 49% ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಂದ ವಂತಿಗೆಯಾಗಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಂದ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಶೇರ್ ಬಂಡವಾಳಾಗಿ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಎರಡನ್ನು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಂಡವಾಳವನ್ನು ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರಿಂದ ವ್ಯಾಪಾರವನ್ನು ನಡೆಸುವುದಾದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವ ಕಾನೂನು ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಆಗ್ತದೆ? ಕಂಪನಿಯ ಆಕ್ಟ್, ಕಂಪನೀಸ್ ಆಕ್ಟ್ 2013 ಇದರ ಅಂತರ್ಗತ ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ನಡೆಸಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ, ಮುಚ್ಚಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ they are governed by the Companies Act 2013 in terms of establishment or formation, then operation or running, then closure, isn't it? Winding up. So this is about government companies. Let me give an illustration for this. ಕೇವಲ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಸ್ಥಾಪಿಸಿ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 51% ಅಧಿಕ ಬಂಡವಾಳವನ್ನು ಹಾಕುವುದಾದರೆ ಅದು ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ. 51% ಅಥವಾ 50% ಅಧಿಕ ಅಂದ್ರೆ 51% ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್, isn't it? 51% ಆರ್ ಮೋರ್ ಹಾಕೋದಾದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಅಥವಾ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, ಯೂನಿಯನ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆರ್ ಸೆಂಟ್ರಲ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, isn't it? And any state for that matter, government of Karnataka or government of Kerala, Andhra Pradesh or any state for that matter, that is also a government company. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಂದ್ರೆ ಆ ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಒಟ್ಟು ಸೇರಿಕೊಂಡು 51% ಬಂಡವಾಳವನ್ನು ಹಾಕ್ತಾರೆ, ಉಳಿದದನ್ನು ಸಾರ್ವಜನಿಕರಿಂದ ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಥವಾ 2 ಅಥವಾ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳು, ಮೇ ಬಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್, Kerala government, isn't it? Or Andhra Pradesh government, they join together, all the 3 state governments join together, they contribute not less than 51% of the share capital and the remaining will be collected from the public, then also it is government company. So ಒಂದು ಕಂಪನಿಯನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರಿ ಕಂಪನಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 51%ಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಅಧಿಕ ಬಂಡವಾಳವನ್ನು ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಹಾಕಿರಬೇಕು. ಸರ್ಕಾರ, ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಕೇಂದ್ರ ಮತ್ತು ರಾಜ್ಯ ಎರಡು ಮಿಕ್ಸ್ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡಿರ್ಬೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ರಾಜ್ಯ ಸರ್ಕಾರಗಳು ಒಟ್ಟಾಗಿ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ವೆರಿ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಆಫ್ ಗವರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕಂಪನಿ. ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟುಡ್ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್? ಕ್ಲಿಯರ್ ನೌ? ಎಸ್. I'll stop here. I will take features, merits and demerits in the next class. Take down assignment. Mention the merits of public corporations. No need of explanation. Submit your assignment on time. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you.
Don't forget to like our video and subscribe our YouTube channel for all the updates.